Hello and welcome back to Manifesting with the Moon. I am here today with Stephanie Cartwright, and we are talking about the new moon in Scorpio that is happening today, tonight. And it's got a lot of feels because there's a lot of stuff going on in the cosmos. Mercury is in retrograde. Uranus just went into retrograde in the sign of Taurus. There's a lot of energy out there, and we're just going to chat about it all. So, what do you think, Steph?
It does sound like a lot of energy, doesn't it? And I think let's start with new moon in Scorpio. Normally this is a bit of feisty energy, but with everything you were saying about Uranus and Taurus, just makes me kind of think maybe we can use some fiery motivational energy of the Scorpio kind of bit more feistiness kind of energy to get stuff done, because obviously new moon energy is very much about setting intentions and about where we want to go. But using that Uranus in retrograde with Taurus, using that plodding movement, steady, instead of like the blow it up kind of attitude sometimes a Scorpio, but a bit more, not bull in a china shop, but much more steady movement, energy, movement, keep going, rather than I'll just think about it, or let's just blow it up and cause chaos, and then we have to change things, of which sometimes can really happen, I think, with Scorpio. And I really feel like this moon, with everything else going on, with that Mercury in retrograde, Uranus in retrograde as well, we need to make sure that we're really aware that we're setting intentions moving forward, but not with chaos or blowing stuff up. There's a time and place for blowing stuff up, but maybe not right now with all of this other energy. What do you think?
I would agree completely because I do feel like Scorpio, as far as water signs go, I feel like Scorpio is very um thrashy around waters, right? It's gonna like cause a lot of
Yeah.
this disruption with your emotions and everything. But I think Uranus being in retrograde in that Taurus is gonna be like, go ahead and thrash around in your emotions. But like I tell my youngest son, like it's totally cool to like, I want you to feel your emotions and I want you to express your emotions, but you need to express them in a way so that you're not stepping on like a ketchup packet and splattering it all over people.
Yeah.
So please
Yes.
just be intentional.
So it's not throwing the tantrum. It's
Yes.
about going, I feel really uncomfortable, but instead of making everyone else uncomfortable around me, it's about going, what do I feel uncomfortable about? Okay, I want this. Let's work towards this, rather than I want this. Give, give, give sort of approach.
Exactly, exactly. And I do think that this is one of the final full moons before we move into the lunar, not full moon, new moon, before we
Mm.
move into that lunar new year. And so it feels like a really good time to kind of like thrash around, get all of those emotions that maybe you have been holding on to. Uranus is really about kind of like letting go of old patterns and resistance and everything and kind of like sorting those out in this
Yeah.
last like little like shuffle, shuffle, shuffle before we kind of settle down into that Capricorn season and start moving into this new energy, really. And so it's
Yeah.
like this last like, okay, calm down. And Mercury in retrograde is like, oh, guess what? You shouldn't talk about it either. Like, or like you shouldn't like be making any big major decisions either. So
Yeah.
feel it, settle into it, and then like reflect in these last couple months.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And because we don't, as I say, we don't want the chaos. We're in the holiday season now. It's an emotional time. We've got to
Mhm.
remember we have all of our little emotional journey that we're on every single day. But then during the holiday season, we're thrown together with loved ones that, let's be honest, some of our loved ones are purely our loved ones because they're part of our family. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we would choose to spend large amounts of time with them, because sometimes those emotions, they come with a little bit of backstory. We can really easily trigger each other. And, before you know, you've lost your temper, or somebody knows how to make that little passive aggressive comment that makes you just feel, not worthy, not good enough, or I should have tried harder, or they don't like me. All of these little things, they dig away. And this is the season where those sorts of this new moon and setting new intentions could really be around how I want to be treated differently moving forward, but not in a I don't want to ever talk to you again, but in a I don't think I want to be spoken to like that, but like that again. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. I mean, yes, families are here to trigger us. It's a lovely thing, right? But it doesn't make it any easier sometimes. And I think that when people think of Scorpio in general, at least when I think of Scorpio, I always think of that stinger, right? Like
Yeah,
that's very like that, ooh, here we go. We're gonna trigger, trigger, trigger. But really, Scorpions in general, like they have nice exoskeletons. So I think this is a really good time for you to like tap into your energetic boundaries. Like, yes, things are going to sting you, but if you have your energetic boundaries up and you are kind of controlling your energy and like processing your emotions and everything, it can be a really powerful way to move forward through this like very intense waves of energy.
yeah,
So, we don't want the ketchup packet to splatter. So we're going to keep our little exoskeleton nice and tight and just kind of know that you're going to be triggered. Like that's part of being human. That's why we all
yeah,
came here. It's the super fun part, right, Steph? I mean, I
yeah,
feel like we've talked about this before, how much fun it can be to like work through your triggers, even though it's
yeah,
painful. It's just a really good way to evolve and move forward. And this is the time that we want to do this as we're moving into this last bit of this snake
yeah.
year. So
Yeah. And I
dive
think,
in.
and again, it's that whole setting intentions, but releasing as part of this. This is why the working with the moon is so key. So I'm going to go back to what you said just then about energetic boundaries, especially around other people, and maybe ask you, what's your favorite way of giving a little bit of an energetic boundary to protect your energy from other people? What do you like to do?
I just like to remove myself from the situation. I find that, especially around family and everything, it's so easy to fall back into those old triggers. I just actually did this recently with my family, and it's almost because I have been removed from that for so long. When I walked back in, it was like this overwhelming rush. So I just had to take a couple seconds to like move away into another room and just be in my own energy for a self and my by myself and just say, okay, this is who you are now. Right now, you are this person. These things are going to trigger you, but you don't have to react the way you did. So this is your
Yeah,
energy. I do a couple of affirmations and then I go back out. And it's just kind of like, because, most families, their energy is very chaotic and it just kind of bombards you, especially if you are not around it consistently. So
yeah,
I find that just being in my own energy when I am in that situation just for a few moments just kind of gives me a nice like little reset like, oh yeah, this is who you are now. This you don't have
yeah,
to play into these old patterns that
yeah,
you used to roll around in and frolic in. Those are in the past. This is who we are now. How about you?
yeah. Yeah, so I think energetically, sometimes I sometimes will visualize a little bit of almost like a bit of a crackle glaze going on around me, almost like I'm in a bauble, a bit of a festive bauble. No one else can see it, but to me, it just feels like I've got a little bit more of a firmer boundary around right at this time of year, just so that, I can let things bounce off. So I like the reason I quite like the whole concept of being like in a bauble, because they're shiny and things can bounce off, reflect back towards them almost. So a little bit of a nice sort of like glitter ball effect around me. Okay, so then anything coming my direction that's maybe a bit passive aggressive, well, whatever. And I do very much have to have I know exactly the people who I'm going to be surrounding myself with. I know their personalities. It's their stuff, it's not mine. And really just work on it's going to be fine. I'm going to have a nice time. And I very much set intentions when I go to these sorts of things too. I'm going to have a lovely time. It's going to be easy. Conversation's going to flow. If it gets too much, I can go for a walk. I really set the intentions of it being going well because when we set an intention, and I think this is coming back to the moon now, when we set an intention, we are much more likely to see that happen than when we just think the worst case, oh, it's going to be really hard. So the moment we set within the universe, today's going to be really tough, you are going to be proving that to yourself all day. You are going to see everything, every red light. You are going to see every junction where you can't pull out. You are going to see every single bit of shower or rain that you have that day. It's just what you're going to see. But if you set that intention of, I'm going to be fine. It's going to be a really nice day. We're going to have fun today. Your brain and you will fulfill that. You're almost like that objective. You will look for it. You will see the fun that you're having. You will remember. And sometimes it's also about recording that and taking photographs. And again, obviously, this sometimes will happen. You will record the things that go well. You won't record the things that don't go well. So even just setting that tension, today's going to go well. When you take those photographs, there's more evidence. Yeah, it went well. So it all helps. This setting intentions can be done daily, not just with the moon, but obviously using the moon is just a brilliant way every single month to come back and go, like, reset.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. I think the intentions are so much more powerful in this Scorpio new moon because we are going full-fledged into the Christmas season and we are often inundated with all kinds of not just triggers like externally, but even just like observing triggers. I'm just thinking when you were talking stuff, I was thinking about Christmas movies. My boys and I were like, oh, let's like make a list of holiday movies that we would like to watch and everything. And as we watched one last night, I was like, wow. I was like, films and media and everything really play into that like, oh, I'm triggered by my family, oh, I'm triggered by this, oh, I don't like the holiday season and it's so depressive and so lonely and everything. And I think that that kind of just like really seeps into the collective consciousness about this season. But if you are intentional with your energy and you do set your day as like, no, this is going to be a really great, fun, jolly day, like even things like that are not going to hit you as hard just by
Yeah.
just by doing that, right? We are like programming ourselves all the time by what we consume around us. And I
Mhm.
think that by having a daily intention, we can just really be like, oh, okay, yeah, that is happening, but I'm not going to let it come into my energetic boundary. And I think it's more important than ever this time of year because emotions are so ridiculously high.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe with this new moon, it might be a really good opportunity to set very simple kind of intentions. So even things like, I'm going to have a fun-loving month. I'm going to make the most of all of my opportunities that I spend with people around me. Things like that, that again, it involves emotion, but it also is really setting some intentions that are really moving you towards to the version of you want to have and be in this upcoming month. Could be a really helpful way because again, with that Taurus and Uranus in the background, Mercury retrograde spinning, you know, I'm just thinking that stability and plodding and movement and progress could be really helpful.
Absolutely. I agree completely. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It's not like you have to do like a big long ritual. It's just waking up and saying, I am calm, I have lots of time, and I am going to enjoy this day or this season to the max or
Yeah,
something. It's not
yeah,
hard. Your brain
no,
is pretty programmable, honestly.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So So I think that this month, I think that with the new moon for me, it's going to be about intention setting, but it's going to be a lot more, I think, about the emotions. So really using that Scorpio energy around emotion. So around fun, happiness, joy, those sorts of emotions are the emotions I want to see more of. So it's going to increase as the moon starts to wax. So, so as it's getting bigger, as such, I want more of these emotions. So my intentions are around emotions and emotions I want to grow. And as such, I'm going to release holding on to expectations of things being like they used to be before. So part of my releasing will be that, but my almost like the, as I say, my where I'm going, my intentions will be about the emotions that I want to move more into.
I like that. I like that a lot. I too am doing something emotions. I want to use this time to really feel and embody all of the emotions so I can like transmute them and move through them quickly.
Nice.
I would like to really do like almost like a detox or something and like really
Mm,
just let's stay out there, world, all the chaos that's going out, and let's just
mhm.
like see what I feel as it kind of sort of trickles in through
Lovely.
my little bubble that I'm going to now use that Stephanie
Yeah,
visualized because
that
it's a
sounds
really good moon for
great.
it.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that sounds fun. So it sounds we've got some of our things that we're going to start bringing in this month,
Mhm.
and um, and keep thinking more about that Taurus energy, so it feels like there's steady movement instead of charging movement. We want that sort of energy, even though we've got the chaos of the whole Mercury retrograde thrown in the mix.
Yes. And with Uranus being in retrograde in this Taurus energy, let that bull be a little bit intense and let it break up some of those patterns that maybe are kind
Mhm.
of holding on into your life. Like let those shift. If you're wanting to shift your identity, you have to be willing to let go of those old versions of yourself that are no longer serving you anymore. So that this is a really good time for that too. And I think Uranus is going to be in this Taurus sign until February. So you got a while. It's not something that has to happen like in the next 2 weeks. You got a couple of months to let those patterns show up, become aware of them, and then just let them fall away.
Sounds great.
Absolutely. Well, I think that is all we have for today. We will see you guys for the full moon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.